Today on the Daily Charge, we're recapping everything we saw at last week's Amazon keynote. Echo Buds, Echo Frames, Echo Loop, and the Amazon Studio Smart Speaker. What are you adding to your Echo ecosystem?
Good morning and welcome to CNET's Daily Charge. It's Monday, September 30th. I'm Al Ring.
And I'm Bridget Carey.
Here are today's stories. Amazon made several major announcements at its event in Seattle last week, but the focus for the tech giant was privacy. Amazon's hardware chief, David Limp, opened up the launch event addressing the many privacy concerns that have surrounded the company since it launched its voice assistant, Alexa. Among those are new controls for Alexa privacy, like auto-deleting your recordings, better controls for the Ring doorbell, making sure the voice assistant doesn't activate at random times, like the many times I've said it on this show. Do you trust any of these changes from Amazon?
It sounds good, but then they are a business and they're still coming out with more gadgets to do listening things. So I'm very skeptical.
Yeah, so after spending a good 5 minutes talking about privacy, the rest of the event was dedicated to announcing several ways that Amazon could listen to you and track you while you're out of the house. That includes new products like Amazon's Loop and Frames, essentially an Alexa-powered Ring and glasses.
I like how they couldn't call it Ring because they already have a company called Ring.
So if you were worried about Amazon listening to you while you're at home, hey, how about taking that everywhere you go now? So there's not much details on them yet, but our reporters were able to learn this from Amazon. So they're not like Iron Man's glasses where you can see directions or displays or anything like that. They're specifically focused on voice commands. They can make phone calls, and they don't really have cameras or anything like that, like the Google Glass did. They also activate on a wake word, but unlike the Echo, there's no light showing when it's recording. So I'm very much looking forward to walking around and wearing this and saying the wake word and just recording background conversations. Thank you very much for this privacy-focused tool, Amazon. Are you interested at all in any of this, these glasses or this jewelry?
The glasses, no. That's just weird. I mean, if I need to like talk to Alexa for something, I don't need to have glasses on my face to do it. But the Ring was like in this in-between zone for me because at first I laughed. I'm like, okay, we're now creating, hardware on our as jewelry. Have we just given up and like ran out of ideas? But wait a second. Amazon did have that thing for the fridge. It was like a magnet that was just
the
a
dash?
button.
No, not the dash.
It was kind of like the dash, but it was just for your it was like a magnet wand where whenever I needed to remind myself to buy something, and I don't mean just like milk and orange juice. I mean like, I need, to get something off Amazon. It would just put the reminder in my cart to go search for it later. And I thought, well, I'm a forgetful person. Would I use this Ring to be like, oh, Amazon, get me a birthday gift for Joe or whatever it is? But then also it puts a whole new meaning to like talk to the hand and like you're like acting like an awkward person in public, like talking to your fingers. I don't know.
I mean, there are wearable like rings out there. So Motive has something where it's like a fitness tracker.
And MasterCard has made one for payments, which I think is the more interesting play that Amazon could have done. That's their kind of bread and butter.
It doesn't really make that much sense for me to have it as a voice assistant on a ring. Where it's like your phone is right there. Like if you're gonna be wearing a ring to talk to it, like just use your phone. I don't know what they're thinking with that. I am very concerned though about like the lack of visible indicator of when it's recording, because there are concerns about like when it's randomly activated.
Like am I going to easily hit that button just because I'm like writing a note to somebody? Like I wonder how it'll trigger.
So another surprise announcement from Amazon was the Amazon Sidewalk, which is essentially a mesh Wi-Fi network that can extend the range of where you can control your IoT devices from. Amazon said they tested this out with their employees in Los Angeles, and it was able to cast signals as far as a mile and basically continuing along to connect throughout the entire city. One of the first tools they're rolling out for it is an internet-connected dog collar, so they could track, use the mesh network to track, lost animals, for example. Are you ready for the downside of this?
Oh, hit me.
All right, so if this becomes popular, it essentially becomes a network owned and operated by Amazon spread throughout entire cities where even if you don't connect to the Wi-Fi, if your phone has Wi-Fi turned on, it's looking for networks that it's connected to before or anything like that. It gives Amazon your MAC address and it tells them essentially, oh, this person was at this location around this time.
I'm just walking around the neighborhood. I don't know what house has Amazon on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And suddenly I walk into their cloud and then Amazon knows information.
Oh, Bridget is here.
Yeah.
So some businesses do this already, especially if they have an open Wi-Fi in a coffee shop or something like that. Link NYC in New York has an open Wi-Fi network that they can basically track wherever you've been. But considering the vast resources that Amazon has, you can really see the potential for tracking behavior here from Amazon. So, after all this, does Amazon's promises on privacy sound as solid as, what they started with at the beginning of the event?
We really care about you guys and knowing exactly what we're recording. And we're also now expanding outside your home and on your face and everywhere. But we care.
It was so weird to me where it was like, okay, we're going to open. We take privacy extremely seriously. Here's all these devices that can also listen to you now. It was such like a 180 for me. It made no sense to me. But, cool gadgets are cool and people will buy them anyway. So congratulations, Amazon.
It's fascinating. The store online that actually isn't a physical store now has expanded its footprint beyond your home to the sidewalk and the lawn and the backyard. And they are growing on your face and on your hand.
And so now we'll turn to our live audience to see what questions you have about today's headlines. You can sound off here in our comments or feel free to tweet at us. We're at Daily Charge on Twitter, and we'll do our best to follow up and keep the conversation going. But for now, let's take a look at what's on your minds at this very moment. BVG.
So morning, everybody, and welcome back. And thank you for your patience while we took a brief hiatus last week to get caught up on other things. It is good to be back, though. Looking forward to taking questions and comments. Let's take the first one from Brian M. It says, privacy-wise, none of the devices make Alexa any worse than Google Assistant, which is on every Android phone and accidentally listens. Not to mention, Google can combine that data along with everything else. Do we think there is some kind of trade-off there between the two leading voice assistants and the ecosystem integration into your smart home?
Yeah.
Are we worried that one is maybe more risky than the other?
Yeah, let me talk some smack real quick. So I couldn't talk about this at the beginning of the show because we have a script to go off of, but unscripted, unfiltered. Anyway, Amazon conflates this illusion of control with privacy where they think, oh, we are giving you the ability to delete your recordings. They've always given you that ability to delete your recordings. The problem is that they're not telling users about this up front. So Amazon, Google, Apple, Microsoft, any tech company that has a voice assistant does this where they, give a good chunk, like a small percentage of those recordings to like contractors to listen for, and it's like, oh, this is where they made the mistake, because that's how AI works. AI doesn't get smarter on its own. People like steer it in the right direction for it to get smarter. And now Amazon is saying, they boasted about this at their event where they're like, we were the first voice assistant provider to allow people to opt out of that, as if that's some sort of new like privacy landmark or something. It's not, because what you should be doing is asking people to opt into that. I looked into my Alexa settings from a year ago because I haven't had an Echo in more than a year. And it was still turned on. It was like, yes, I want to help Amazon improve their AI and by letting humans listen to this. I never knew that was going on until these stories came out. Right. It was like, the fact that like they didn't tell you that when you bought it and that you had to go deep into your settings to do that. That's not real privacy. That's not like actually giving an option for people. Like you can say you're giving an option, but are you really doing it if you're burying it in your settings like that? Like what you should be doing is asking people, do you want to opt into this? Do you want to give us free labor and train our programs? That's how it should be if you really care about privacy. And they did not do that. They even boasted about the fact that they had this setting that is not really, providing any metric of privacy for anybody. And this isn't just on Amazon. Like Google also does this. They do the exact same thing. They also boasted about, we allow people to opt out now. It's like, that's not how it should be. You should have to opt in to help a company improve their improve their AI and basically give them free labor.
It should be the very first like big pop-ups when you're turning something on.
Yeah. So yeah, that is the smack that I wanted to talk, and I did not have enough time on the show to do. But to answer the question, yeah, they're all bad. They're all incredibly bad for your privacy. But I do think that you have to consider what ecosystem you're already like incredibly ingrained in. So that's how I made my decision between using an Echo and using like a Google Home Assistant or anything like that. I knew that I only used Amazon for shopping. Whereas for Google, I use that. I already like they know a lot of info about me from like maps, my Android devices. I have a Chromecast for another purpose, like Gmail. I'm very embedded into Google's system, so I am comfortable with using a Google Assistant. But like for me to get an Amazon Echo or any kind of Alexa device, then it's like giving voice data to another company. And you can easily make the argument that they're all interlinked. Like Amazon shares data with Google and vice versa. So at the end of the day, what are we really doing here? Like arguing about privacy. But yeah, they're all bad. If you really don't want to have like a voice assistant, you don't need it. Like
it's very interesting to have a whole piece of hardware on a finger just to be like, I have a question for my assistant.
Yeah.
It's very, I mean, why not do other tasks or other purposes to this? It's just a little odd.
Your phone is right there.
I'm not gonna buy something for Siri to do one thing or even Google Assistant, right?
Yeah,
right. You have your smart watches, you have your phone. I don't know.
Real talk here on Daily Charge. Make sure to tune in every time Alfred's here to just get an earful. When you guys were talking about Amazon Sidewalk, which is something I completely missed because I was not paying super close attention to that keynote last week. I was working on other things. You talk about accidentally walking into somebody's mesh, and I just have this image of walking down the street and walking into like an electric spiderweb, cobweb, just like, ah! Everybody knows that feeling, right?
It got me.
No, I grew up in the city, so we don't have spiders here. I don't know.
I think that's the exact opposite case, Alfred, but either way, neither here nor there. Michael Lambert says, I believe the glasses have a notification light above your eyebrow. Now, I don't think that's true. Did you guys notice anything like that?
So
If you wear it.
Yeah.
If you wear it.
It's if you're wearing it, and it's also like, I thought it was facing the viewer.
Right.
Like,
So Alfred, if you have the glasses on, the question is, can I know if you're recording me?
I thought it was, I don't know which direction it's facing, but I thought it was facing like internally.
From what I read, that's how it sounded too.
So like, I know if I'm recording.
I haven't seen it for myself, but it looks like the person wearing it will see a blue light, but will anyone else?
Yeah, and that's a major problem. I keep like wondering like what's to stop me from wearing one of these, going into a place where like I want to record somebody talking and just repeatedly saying things like, you know,
okay, computer.
Yeah, or like, yeah. So there was another study recently. I don't know if it was out of Princeton. It was on like smart TV specifically, where they learned that even though you need to say the specific wake word for it, they found that there are obviously errors on it. And apparently if you say anything that says like, I like, and then a word that starts with S, like, so I can say like, I like Star Trek. Yeah, they think that like it's activated like a lot of Echo devices by doing that.
That's happened to me with Siri, and I'm like, how did it just go off? I did not say her name, and I must have said something that just had a little bit of an S sound.
And to be fair, like you could make the argument, well, you know, what's to stop anybody from going anywhere with a recorder in their pocket, right? I think the difference would be though that this is sent to Amazon and sent to their cloud, and like there's a lot of human contractors that are still listening to it because you have to opt out of it. So yeah, there are still like privacy concerns around that. I don't think that they really made it better for themselves by saying, hey, this thing can go anywhere in the world now.
Yeah.
Timothy sends his regards to Bridget. He says he really enjoyed your Ring Fit Switch video. I thought that was pretty clever, too.
Thanks, guys.
Next question is coming from Caleb. That Echo Auto device, that's just begging for distracted drivers. I'm hugely against using any tech while driving. I drive in silence because I'm so easily distracted. No radio, no smart device. Caleb, you're a rare breed, but he's got a great point. What are some of the measures being taken by Amazon in the development of the, is it Echo Auto or Amazon Auto?
I think it's Echo Auto. Also, I don't want to go on a road trip with Caleb. I feel like that'd be like the quietest 6 hours. Nobody talk. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what measures they really have for it. They didn't really talk about it that much during the Amazon event. We do have a full write-up on it from like our preview that we had gotten before the event. We can put the link in the description below after this.
Already there.
Yep. So yeah, be sure to check that out. But yeah, it's weird to me to think like I need a voice assistant while I'm driving as well. I also don't drive that much.
That's one of the places that I find it the most useful, and I don't drive nearly as much as I used to either.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like switching what I'm listening to, recalling the last set of directions on the map, like that is one place I want voice assistance. It's like having a co-pilot, like having your navigator riding shotgun, even though you're driving solo. Hey, where's the nearest coffee place? Where's the nearest gas station? I'm about to pull over. That's handy, but that's about as far as I take it too. I don't know what other
Yeah, and
features that
calling
it's gonna
somebody
boast.
so I don't have to like pick up my phone and text them or call them. Right.
Or don't text while you're driving to begin with.
No, I just mean like audibly send a message and like I'm almost there, but I'm actually 30 minutes late.
Got him.
Ryan says the Amazon Ring is going to fail spectacularly.
It's so expensive too. What is this test that they're doing?
So you have to be invited to get one also, which I really hope
you
they send me
can
one.
ask for an invite,
Yeah.
which I did.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to talk to my hand, see if that's like. But
Yeah, I think at this point Amazon, because they have so much money, is really just like, let's just throw spaghetti at the ceiling and see, what sticks. Because yeah, they've done this before. They've come out with a bunch of like wacky stuff. Remember the dash buttons?
I still have a pile of them at my desk.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I
just one for Lay's potato chips, just one for even had one for Nerf if you needed more Nerf darts.
Yeah, like Amazon can afford to do that. Like and sometimes they hit a home run. Like they came out with those like $50 tablets that were like hardware wise are junk, but like people love them. So they can afford to do that though. They're like one of the richest companies out there. Jeff Bezos in a recent interview had talked about how like he didn't know what to do with all this money, and he wanted to. That's why he like wanted to get into like space exploration. Meanwhile, they also cut benefits for Whole Food workers. So very cool, Amazon. But yeah, they have a ton of money, and they can afford to do stuff like this when they also pay their workers like next to nothing.
So I think it's interesting that you use the phrase "throw spaghetti at the ceiling," because at the same time, Timothy's asking is if they're just throwing stuff at the board to see what sticks. When did wall become obsolete? I always thought the catchphrase was, "Are they just throwing something at the wall to see what sticks?" But anyways,
I think throwing stuff at the wall is like pretty conventional, and that's why I went with ceiling, just because it's like that's how wild they're kind of going here. It's like, no, don't throw it at the like. Things stick on walls when you throw them on walls, like most times. You're fighting gravity when you throw it on the ceiling. But
so you're just looking for the enhanced
Yes.
challenge. Okay, I see. Either way, the point remains, do they know what the hell they're doing with the Echo and their voice assistant these days?
Yeah, they are making it less weird to have Amazon around you at all times.
Yeah.
Inch by inch.
And they're really trying to assert like market dominance here, where they're much further ahead in market share than like Google is with the Google Assistant. But it's not because the AI is better or smarter or anything like that. It's because they were here much longer and their products like are so widely spread across. So at this point, it's kind of just like, okay, let's put it in everything. Because we have like such a wide market share to begin with.
A lot of chatter going on about the Ring, which I find kind of surprising because I thought it was kind of silly and underwhelming. But the rings were intriguing until you imagine how you look listening to them. It also boggles the mind that you are limited to one contact. That is a little nuts.
There's only 4 sizes. And they're going to send you, like, if you wanted to get one, you could get it fitted with, like, fake ones first to see if you're a 9, 10, 11, or 12. And then you better pick the right finger because whatever you, like, listen, then you got to talk and listen and talk. And then and then you're like
you
making baseball
wash it?
signals, when you're in the grocery store. I don't know.
You should be able to wash it too. That sounds disgusting.
It says you can wash your hands, but they don't recommend swimming with it, although I'm sure it's somewhat resistant. But
Oh no, can you wash the ring itself? Because if you're putting it at your mouth all the time and then at your ear, it's just gross.
I guess you can give it a rinse. If it's somewhat resistant, it probably can't handle a good dunk, but.
I imagine Sagi says, we all agree that the Amazon Ring is only useful for cheating on a test, right? What?
That's a good one.
Where exactly would this get used, though? Outside of like, oh, you could say it's your casual day-to-day. You could kind of like a watch, but you're running it like a phone. Is there actually a use for, or is it really just bells and whistles?
You know when people used to tie something around their finger to remind them? I mean, you could use it as reminders. Like, that's what I would use it for, I think. Because whatever you say could end up in your cart, and then you go to your cart later to remind you different things. I don't think and maybe quick phone calls.
You're gonna pay $180 for a reminders device.
No, I'm saying I'm trying to give them an idea like of what I would do with it. No, because I'd still pull out my phone and do it with dictation. You know? So I'm still doing dictation, and one-handed. But
honestly, like I only see its usefulness as like a spying device. I really don't like. It's inconspicuous and it has no light on, and you can talk to it to like activate it, start recording people. It's kind of.
Everyone was creeped out with Google Glass having a camera when you were walking around. Yeah. Now it's like, hi, Alfred. Hold on. Tell me more about what happened to you today. Like, why are you holding your hand that way, Bridget? Oh, no reason at all. I'm just.
Do you like computers?
Okay, we have a few minutes left. Commander Trium says, I know privacy would be great, but I have the sense that we're just way past that point where we can't just walk it back to a point where privacy is going to be complete like in the old days. Agree?
Oh yeah, we're screwed. I don't even know why I do this anymore. Just because there really is no going back on this. There are a handful of companies that have been trying to advocate for privacy and push. I think honestly, like the most we can do now is try to stop the bleeding. Like that is an open wound, but there are ways that we can stop it from getting it, calling things out before they're like a lot more widespread.
Getting comfortable with a camera in everything in every aspect of your room might be a way to go, hey, put the brakes on it. You don't have to be so complacent with everything.
Yeah, I think we're past a certain point of what is expected with privacy, but I also do think that, if you call enough attention to something, there are ways to stop it from getting like too far, because companies will do whatever they can to convince you, hey, it's a good idea to put a camera inside of your house that the footage is sent to us. And also sometimes police can get it.
Ryan says, regarding the Ring, I have the Google Assistant in my headphones and never ever use it, but it's at least another purpose compared to just the Ring. He also goes on to say, personally, I would gladly opt into the services that Google Assistant provides as it helps with developing the AI. I don't see how I'd be able to go back now that they've already got me hooked in. Another case of extreme loyalty to your ecosystem. Don't blame me there at all. I think we've all got that to a certain degree at this point.
That's fine if you want to opt in and help out a company that's not paying you for making their services better. Mm-hmm. But like you said, like that's you choosing to help them out. I have a problem when a company just does it anyway and then like tells you, hey, you always had the option to not be a part of this. And it's like, okay, cool.
What are you bragging about here?
Yeah.
Like that, like if you spent enough time into the settings, you could have undone it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's disingenuous. It's not like real privacy when you're telling somebody this like long after the fact, like, hey, you didn't have to be a part of this. Like you could have said no at any time. Like that's a little BS to me.
I think we all also, we all kind of have to be aware of every other service's wake words now, because even if you're not tied into Amazon, you should know it's more than just Miss Alexa. Like some people can set it to different things, and you kind of have to be aware what everyone could be saying to record on their phone or some jewelry now.
Yeah.
Another quick question about the Ring. Does it have IoT connectivity?
It should. Like, I mean, that's the only way. I think it's supposed to connect to your phone like via Bluetooth, and then it like piggybacks off of like that network.
But it has to piggyback off the phone.
I believe so. I don't think it runs on its own.
No, it's too. Yeah, that would be a lot.
And right now, it's only compatible with Android devices. Like it doesn't work with like iOS devices.
No, wait. The Ring works with both. The
Oh, the
glasses
glasses
only work with Android.
Okay.
Which is very interesting. What happened there? A mystery to be solved perhaps someday.
Yeah.
Or they just bought them out or something. I don't know. Okay, and to close things out, let's talk a little bit about the headphones, which we didn't talk about. Brian says that the Amazon headphones have the most potential if they sound great. I suppose he's got a point there. I have had some Amazon basic headphones in the past, just cheapos, throwaways, and they've worked just fine. Where do we think they're going with this?
Yeah,
do the headphones have some legitimate potential here?
Yeah, they partnered with Bose to make these, which I've heard are good. I've also heard are not that great. But
I use Bose Sound Sports. They're pretty good.
Okay, yeah, okay. So they partnered.
It's
with
a legit company.
Yes.
So there you go.
They partnered with Bose to make these headphones. They're like they're cheap. They're like kind of cheap, like relative to like AirPods or like Samsung Galaxy Buds or whatever the hell they have, or like the Pixel Buds. So yeah, there should be good headphones to compete with like AirPods. I really wish that they were just headphones, like they sold them as like an Amazon Basics product or like some version of it that was. Just because there might be some people that want good headphones but don't want a voice assistant in it.
Options, people.
All right, that's about enough for now. It's great to be back, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow, right? We do have a show tomorrow.
Yes.
It's going to be a funny week. I think Wednesday we might have to shift the schedule up to accommodate a Microsoft event that's going on in the morning, but we'll keep you posted.
Are
In
we
the
doing
meantime,
CNET after hours?
yeah, we'll do an
After
after
dark?
show. We've got to bring that back.
All right.
In the meantime, though, yeah, Alfred, go ahead and take us back.
Yeah, thank you all for your questions. If you enjoyed the show, go ahead and like, comment, do whatever the hell you want. We are live every weekday morning here on YouTube, Periscope, and CNET.com. Also, you can subscribe to our audio podcast, as well as the new and improved Supercharged extended podcast on pretty much every platform available. Links to all of these are in the description below. For the Daily Charge, I'm Alfred Ng.
I'm Bridget Carey.
Thanks for joining us.
Can't get enough? Check out the Daily Supercharge, our extended post show with special features, audience Q&A, and in-depth reviews. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.